Yeah, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good to be here. The stage could be a bit bigger. I mean, it's not as big as this on the other side, but that's okay. We're working on it. So I'm here with ecolytiq. Company was founded 3.5 years ago. We do sustainability as a service. Well, that sounds really nice and easy, but it's quite tricky. What we do is we put climate action into the hands of consumers, because I don't know how many of you have been following the COP28 progress and the announcement. This morning actually was like going into not a phase out of fossil, but more like a transition away from fossil, which is like okay, but it's not really a firm commitment. So we need climate action at scale, and that's what we do at ecolytiq. So what if we could educate 1.5 million customers about their footprint and how to reduce this footprint? And with 1.5 million consumers, I mean everybody here in the room. Everybody has a banking app. Everybody is using a banking app. So that's what we do. So 1.5 million consumers we are talking out today at the moment at ecolytiq. And 10% of the carbon emissions of 1.5 million consumers is roughly, if you take a German average or European average, it's roughly 1.5 million tons of CO2 avoided through change of behavior. So that's okay, it's a good number. That's where we are today. What if we could increase this number to 10 million consumers? So that's our target for next year. You get it, 10 million consumers roughly means 10 million tons of CO2 avoided. Now, getting a little bit more ambitious here, our goal is someday to reach 500 million consumers, which is massive, I know, but let's put it into context. So there are 4.2 billion Visa cards out there in the market globally, and Visa is one of our partners. So if you put that into context, that number is, someday, some years, hopefully reachable. 4.2 billion or 500 million would be 500 million tons saved again, right? So what we offer as ecolytiq is we offer technology for the finance industry, for the banks to generate customer awareness, engagement, and climate action at scale. And the good thing, like the same with Grover, it's quite unique when business models combine profit and sustainability, both. So if we're getting more successful, we're avoiding more CO2, we are also getting more profitable. So this is also a big business for the banks. A green bank account, that's a study from McKinsey, a green bank account globally for banks has a potential of $50 billion. A green bank account is a bank account, like this is an example from Germany, Tomorrow Bank. It's a carbon neutral account, and it's what I call a green account. And here you can see already something that with every transaction you get an impact, right? It's gonna go into detail a little bit more. Another example is a green credit card, right? Green credit cards have a global potential of $20–30 billion a year, and it's not stopping there. Green loans, green mortgages, so all the green investments, all the products the bank need to sell, that's what we enable the banks to do. Now, where do we start? We start with payment data. That was the initial idea, because if you want to calculate the footprints of individuals, the best starting point are your payments. You're filling up your car using a card. You buy a coffee using your card. You book a flight using your card or account. So if you look at the payment transactions of certain consumers, it's the best way to get down to the footprint of these consumers. So that's what we do. So our software is integrated into the banking app. If you're banking with Switzerland, UBS, Credit Suisse, this would appear in your banking app. You open your banking app, maybe you want to do a transfer of money, and you see that you've bought something at Lidl. I know it's a good example here in Switzerland, but bought something at Lidl and it has a footprint. So 43 kilos of CO2. So people get aware about whatever they do, every transaction has an impact, right? So this one is 53 kilos of CO2. That's around 106 parcel deliveries. Also, I get a little bit of content and context to this abstract number. And what I could do here is I could also refine my footprint, because we don't have any data behind that. But we say it's a grocery transaction, so if you're buying organic food, it saves you 70, no, not 70, 27% of CO2, which is amazing, right? So that's what we say, it's easy to reduce your footprint by just change your behavior a little bit. If that's a different transaction, like a flight booking, we would see it's a flight booking, it would tell you night flights emit twice as much as day flights, right? So we have all these, which is for a scientific reason, I mean, it's too long, I think, to get into here, looking at my time. Or frozen food has a 10 times higher impact than normal food. So, and that's what we tell the people when we see what they're buying. And the last point is basically going from awareness to engagement to action to say, okay, I booked that flight, I bought these groceries, now I want to offset this, buy carbon credits for this, invest into products. So that's the basically closing the circle here, and donate some money to an organization. It should be a seamless process in your banking app, right? Should be just a click away. So as I said, it's quite a solid business model for the consumers and for the banks. So, 33 in Europe, that's a UK number, 33 would leave the bank if the bank is not offering these green cards, green accounts, green investments. So quite a high number, and today it's easy to switch banks, change banks, right? It's a matter of minutes. We see increased engagement in the app because what's happening there, I'm seeing, okay, frozen food, higher impact, I didn't know. So 146% more engagement. People spend in the back then quite static banking app, now it's getting more interactive. And what we also see for the banks, interesting, is the top of wallet, which is the amount spent on the card actually goes up because you have 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. So you go for the cards where the user interface is nice or where you get some more interesting stuff to see. So it's actually the holy grail to get more transactions on these cards for the banks. And you tap into new revenue streams. So, Aspiration is an example here from the US, but you could charge more as a bank for these kind of products, but you need to have some software and some insight behind that. And as I said, it comes with a positive impact. So what's happening here is interesting. So as I said, on average, we are about 10% less CO2 through these educational tips and tricks. And the spending goes up. So the black one is the spending going up over time because users just spend more on these cards, whereas the CO2 per euro goes down. So that's what we want to see. If you break that down into numbers, so that was 2022, 500,000 tons saved or avoided. This year, hopefully, will be 1.5 million, and next year, hopefully, it will be 10 million. So let's see if we can get there. If you look at the price, which is interesting, so our software, what it costs and what it gives, the price for a ton of carbon avoided is €7, which I don't know what the market price at the moment, like $70, $80 something. So it's far less than to buy a carbon credit, right? And it's actually going down with the volume. This number will go down to 70 cents maybe if we factor in like a factor of 10. So I'm Ulrich Pietsch. I'm one of the co-founders of ecolytiq. If you have a question, let me know. I still have 1 minute and 30 left. That's quite amazing. So if any questions in the audience? Anything your bank, you want to see your bank? So consumers should push their banks to do this, right? So it's the consumer push. It's not really a bank pull. It's more like a customer push. So that's what I would recommend you to do. And yeah, thank you for your attention. Have a great conference.